Show and sell. The title of the video, Show and Sell, is actually a play, and I'm sure you understood this, a play on words. Do you remember when you used to go to school and they had the show and tell? Maybe you don't, but that was something that we had a long time ago. Basically, the idea was once you really liked something or something that you found at your house, something that was interesting, something that was different about you, you were to bring it to school, and then you stood before the whole class and you would present that idea to the whole class. Well, some of the kids in the class thought it was great, some of them would make fun of it. Well, life is about that same thing, basically. A lot of it depends on the way you present something as to how much people really buy into it. Now, everyone is a salesman, whether you want to or not. And most people say, well, that's not true. Well, yes, it is. It's definitely true. And let me prove it to you. When you go to a doctor, he sold you on the idea of being there. Now you might say, no, I went because I was sick. Well, you went there basically because you had a need and he advertised that he can provide what you need. See, that was a sale. How about this? Have you ever had a boyfriend or girlfriend? I don't know what your sexual preference is. But whether or not you've ever had a couple, you had to sell yourself as a better choice from the rest of them. That's a salesperson. What about Christopher Columbus? Can you imagine the type of sales job he had to do to get people to go with him in search of something that no one knew was there, with the hopes of not falling off of the earth and dying? But he sold people on that. But why? Because he was passionate about it. That was one thing. And because he showed them what was the possible outcome. So what do you need to do? Once you identify something that you're really passionate about, don't discard the rest of the things that are on your list of things you do. Because maybe that might not be where you're going to end up. You might find something else that you can cultivate a passion for, but you need to be able to show that to others. If you can't show this to anyone, if you can't show anyone what the idea is, help them see what you're looking at, help them understand the value behind what you offer, whether it's a service or whether it's an object or whether it's a product. It doesn't matter really what it is. You need to sell that idea by showing it. Now, you don't want to insist on people coming in. You don't want to insist on people buying. You don't want to insist on people showing up at your restaurant. You don't want to insist on people doing anything. You just want to let people know you're out there. So think about ways that this can be done in, we'll say, a traditional business. If you're looking at starting a business, you would be looking at advertising. And advertising basically is that, show and tell for adults. We put signs out on the streets. We have dancing hot dogs in the streets. We have, a jalapeno chili with a big sombrero on. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You have signs, grand opening, going out of business soon, anything you can so that people will notice you're there. See, that's part of the show. Now, once the person notices you're there, after they see the show, they notice the show, now comes the sell. Now, the sell just basically means showing the value in the life of the other person for whatever you have. Now, how does that work? Even in a garage sale, we do the same thing. We've all done it. People sitting there at a yard sale, and you always notice that there's somebody that migrates towards a certain part of the yard sale. Now, there's a reason why most yard sales have all of the clothes together and all of the electronic stuff together and all the plates together. Might not be the best organization that there is, but basically, we kind of tend to migrate towards sections that have something that calls our attention. So then what happens? Just like a car salesman, but a little bit more nervous, you'll see the owner start to kind of walk out to where you're at. They always ask you the same question. Was there something specific you were looking for? Are you interested in this, or are you interested in that? Or they'll say, when we have more movies in the house, we're bringing them out right now. Well, basically what they did is they told you, they showed you their merchandise, what they had, and then when they saw your interest, they sold you on the idea that there's something of value for them there. So what do we do with your idea? Whatever you find that you feel you could present as merchandise, something that you could commercialize, that you already do and that you already like. Okay. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to show that to as many people as you can that are related to a field that you feel that they would be interested in. Now, you can do that one or two ways. You either put yourself out there with an announcement saying, hey, this is what I have, and let them come to you, or you can do what some people view as I would say, uncomfortable, maybe, which is to approach people with that idea. Well, how is that done? You've been to Costco or other stores where they have a person there with a plate of food and they have the microwave there and they're setting up things and they have little toothpicks and little hot dogs or whatever. That's what they're doing. They went to where you are. You're out and about. This is not just setting up a product there. They actually have the product, making the product, and they give you a sample. As you're walking by, they'll say, sir, would you like? That offer sometimes will pull you in. Now, once you come in, you try it. Your idea is
show what you're thinking, and then you do that to enough people, you'll actually sell them on the fact that it's something beneficial for them. Once you do that, you're on the way to commercializing what your hobby is, commercializing what you already do and already know. So take some time. This is going to be the end of video 2. Take some time and write down some of the things that you might think you would be comfortable with as far as marketing your idea. How are you going to show people what you do? What are you comfortable with? Can you approach people, or do you need to be approached? Okay, so I'll be back in video number 3.